Airports are usually places of goodbyes, reunions, and rushed coffee. But on February 13th, 2017, Kuala Lumpur International Airport turned into the stage for one of the strangest assassinations in modern history. Surveillance cameras caught two young women walking up to a man, smearing something on his face, and then walking away laughing, like it was some kind of prank. Within minutes, that man, Kim Jong-nam, the estranged half-brother of North Korea's leader, was dead. It looked like something out of a spy movie, except it wasn't fiction. It was real. It was public.
A warning for you, this CCTV footage we're about to show may cause some distress to some of you, because what you can see here is a man resembling Kim Jong-nam. He's approached by this woman at the airport, and as you can see, a second woman there is lunging from behind. She has a cloth and holds it over his face, and then as you can see there, she just walks away very quickly. The whole incident taking place in just a matter of seconds. The man is then seen walking over to airport staff. You can see here he's gesturing to his face, and he is now led away to the airport medical centre, and we now know that he later died. The latest from the police is that they believe Kim Jong-nam was poisoned. There is widespread speculation that North Korea is behind the murder. This incident also sparking a diplomatic rift, with Malaysia recalling its ambassador to Pyongyang.
And it left the world asking the same question. How did two ordinary women become pawns in a deadly international plot? Meet Siti Aisyah, an Indonesian woman with big dreams but limited options. She grew up in a small village, the kind of place where people worked hard and lived modestly. After a short marriage and a young son, she moved to Malaysia for work, hoping to find something better than the long hours of a factory or a massage parlour. When a friendly man offered her a chance to be in funny prank videos, she saw opportunity, not danger. Then there's Joan Thi Huong, a Vietnamese woman who always wanted to be in the spotlight. She had studied accounting, but her heart was in performing. She auditioned for singing shows, dabbled in modelling, and even waited tables between gigs. When a man calling himself Mr. Y approached her with a similar offer to film light-hearted pranks for a Japanese TV show, she jumped at the chance. Both women thought they were chasing fun and fame. They had no idea they were being drawn into something far darker. For weeks, the two women filmed what looked like innocent pranks. They'd sneak up on strangers, smear baby oil on their faces, and run off laughing. Sometimes they even practiced on each other or on teddy bears in their hotel rooms. The men behind the camera, North Korean handlers posing as producers, encouraged them, praising their acting. They were paid small amounts, treated kindly, and convinced this was all part of an upcoming TV show. Neither woman suspected they were being carefully trained for an assassination. Then, one day, they were told the next shoot would be at the airport. Just another prank, same routine, nothing new. But this time, the oil wasn't oil. To the outside world, nothing about that day seemed off. Siti and Huong were giggling, joking, and playing along just like before. The so-called producers handed them identical bottles of liquid and told them to perform their prank on a man in a grey jacket. They were told he was an actor too, but behind the scenes, the signs of manipulation were everywhere. One of the producers was seen entering the North Korean embassy right after the hit. Another was caught on camera boarding a flight out of Malaysia hours later. Police later found traces of VX nerve agent, the world's deadliest chemical weapon, on the women's hands and on Kim Jong-nam's face. Still, at that moment, the women thought it was all part of the script. They smiled for the cameras, completely unaware of what they had just done. Minutes after the so-called prank, Kim Jong-nam stumbled toward the airport information desk, gasping for help. Within moments, his muscles began to seize, his eyes rolled back, and he collapsed. By the time he reached the clinic, it was too late. The VX had shut down his nervous system. He died painfully within an hour. The story exploded worldwide. Who would kill the brother of Kim Jong-un in broad daylight? Malaysian police reviewed the CCTV footage and quickly arrested Siti and Huong. Both were terrified and confused. They told officers they thought it was a prank. Meanwhile, intelligence agencies whispered that this wasn't random. It was a political hit ordered by Pyongyang. As more details came out, the scale of the setup became impossible to ignore. When investigators dug deeper, the truth was almost unbelievable. The two women weren't trained assassins, they were decoys. The real killers were the North Korean agents who orchestrated every detail and fled Malaysia hours after the attack. They had used the women as unwitting tools to apply the VX, making it look like a harmless stunt. Even stranger, the women's prior pranks had been part of their conditioning, gradual rehearsals to make them confident and unsuspecting. The producers had even rotated them between harmless liquids to desensitize them. By the time they reached the airport, they had no reason to question the bottles they were given. It wasn't just cold-blooded murder, it was psychological manipulation at its peak. The trial became international news. Both women faced the death penalty under Malaysia's strict laws. Their lawyers argued they were victims of an elaborate North Korean conspiracy.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the investigation. I want to go straight into why and also the timing of this. And I think people may be confused as to why he was getting protection from China and how that all plays in.
Well, it goes back to the transition between Kim Jong-il, the former dictator, and Kim Jong-un, the new ruler and dictator of North Korea. You know, he had two other brothers who could have gone to the top, who could have succeeded Kim Jong-il. And so the fears, of course, were that there was going to be a power battle among them. When Kim Jong-un succeeded, his other brothers dropped basically out of sight, and Kim Jong-nam, who apparently didn't want anything to do with being succeeded or succeeding his father, was protected by the Chinese. And I think what that did for Kim Jong-un was always make it the possibility that he could be brought in as an alternative power center. And so he's been waiting for the moment to strike, and he got it recently.
Video footage, text messages, and expert testimonies supported their innocence. Public opinion was divided. Some saw them as naive, others as complicit. But as political pressure grew, and prosecutors acknowledged evidence of deception, the charges were reduced. Siti Aisyah was released in 2019 after charges were dropped, and Juan Thi Huong pleaded guilty to a lesser charge and was freed a few months later. None of the North Korean masterminds were ever caught. They were already back in Pyongyang, safe behind diplomatic walls. The murder of Kim Jong-nam sent shockwaves through the world, not just because of who he was, but because of how it happened. It blurred the line between crime and state terrorism, between ordinary people and pawns. Siti Aisyah and Juan Thi Huong returned to their home countries as free women, but their lives would never be the same. Both said they had nightmares about that day. Kim Jong-nam was buried quietly, and his son Kim Han-sol went into hiding.
Hi, my name's Kim Han-sol, from North Korea, part of the Kim family. Here's my passport. My father has been killed a few days ago. I'm currently with my mother and my sister, and we're very grateful. We hope this gets better soon.
The case remains one of the most chilling examples of how far political regimes will go to eliminate threats. And it all started with what looked like a harmless joke in an airport terminal. A prank show that turned into an assassination, planned to perfection, executed in seconds, and remembered forever.